When you hear the word misogynist, does your brain conjure up an image of a man-child yelling into a microphone about being a big bad alpha while simultaneously pooping into his adult diaper and then yelling at some poor woman to clean up after him because she can just do it so much better than he can? From "May I haleek you, Ed" to "You lucky I'm not whooping yo ass, Rob," 90 Day Fiance's cup overfloweth with men who want to hate stick their tiny little wieners into the holes of women that they will neither acknowledge nor respect. But what if I told you that the biggest misogynist of this season was actually a woman? And no, I am not talking about Shekinah, even though I do think that girl has got some deep-seated internal misogyny going on. No. I am talking about Amani, the self-proclaimed HBIC whose entire personality revolves around being in a throuple.
We're a throuple. Throuple. A throuple. A throuple.
I'm in a throuple, in case you didn't know.
When Amani first showed up, she came across like your classic high-achieving girl boss. Think six-figure tech job, a hot-ass husband, a San Diego dream home, and a voice that kind of always sounds like it's delivering feedback that you're not emotionally ready to receive. On paper, Girly was unstoppable. But then she started showing up on television and it started to become painfully clear, at least to me, that her version of success wasn't built in spite of misogyny, it was built on top of it. Before we wade any deeper into this misogyny-marinated mess, I want to give a quick thank you to the sponsor of today's video, Polybuzz, the app that lets you build the emotionally available partner that Matt wishes he had. Polybuzz is an AI chat platform that gives you the power to unleash your creativity and make your very own AI character that you can have immersive role-playing experiences with that are personalized and private. And if you're not super sure what kind of character you want to chat with, do not worry. There are over 20 million unique characters that you can pick from. So let's do a quick roleplay, shall we? I'ma be Matt. I want to feel respected, heard, and maybe, just maybe, I want to stop being treated like a glorified Roomba with a grade A wiener. So I download Polybuzz, I enter in my code BOBA to get a taste of that premium life, and I get to making supportive Amani, not you can't turn a hoe into a housewife Amani.
You're so nice to me. I can't imagine if you were a financially controlling wife who never let me see a single penny while I'm at home taking care of the house and kids.
Baby, I'd never treat you like that. We're a team, remember? You're my rock at home while I work hard to provide for our family.
You really think I contribute enough?
Nah, you're literally my hero. The kids adore you, and you keep our home running smoothly. That's worth more than any paycheck.
Yes, please. Words of affirmation is definitely my kink. Could someone please tell Amani that you can validate feelings without charging rent? So if you want to be endlessly entertained, emotionally nourished, or, just practice having boundaries in a safe space, download Polybuzz using my link in the description, and be sure to put in code BOBA, that's B-O-B-A, to unlock premium features for free. Now, let's get back into this mess. Let's start with some money talk. Amani and Matt made their first television appearance on a Netflix show called How to Get Rich. Now, Amani at this time was making $24,000 a month as the sole breadwinner, and Matt quit his job as a traveling electrical engineer so that he could stay at home with their kids. And I guess Amani thought that being a stay-at-home parent to 2 children was super easy because instead of treating their situation like an equitable division of labor, she kind of treated Matt like an ungrateful, unpaid intern who does not want to work because he's too busy being on vacation.
I work harder now than I did when I was an engineer, and I get less respect and less reward. She definitely devalues what I do for the house rather than what I used to do for employment.
So what does she do? Girly decides to cut him off, cut him out, and push him into the dark without so much as a wet match.
I have absolutely no decisions in anything to do with money.
I'm the one who works, so it's okay for me to decide who has access, who's not.
Amani justifies her decision to exclude Matt from all of their finances by saying that he needs to prove to her that she can trust him with her money.
Do you trust him?
No, I don't. He hasn't proven himself to me yet.
Remember, she trusts him to take care of both of their children, and she, the only person who controls the finances, is currently making $24,000 a month and applied to be on this show because she is spending thousands of dollars more than she makes.
I never know every month how much really I'm spending. My expenses are more than the money I'm bringing. That's where I fall to credit cards.
Now, Matt wants to help, either by going back to work and bringing in some additional income, or by taking on some of the mental load that's clearly eating Amani alive. But she just will not let him.
I mean, I made a lot of sacrifices so you could make this money, honey. So compensate me for that. You won't.
She just brushes off all of his concerns and stands on her little soapbox, crying in victim about how she's only 27 and she's got to carry the weight of the world on her shoulders because she has to take care of him and their 2 kids.
The more money she's made, the less valuable I am.
That's a very strong statement.
That's how I feel, though.
So Amani gets fed up and she's like, oh my God, if you want to work so badly, then just go and find a job. So Matt goes out to job search and take interviews, and during that time, Amani is working from home, taking care of the kids, and oh my God, she hates it.
This is rough. For me, I rather work than to do this every day.
She complains about how hard it is, and instead of saying, oh, well, damn, maybe Matt has been pulling more weight than I ever gave him credit for, she just throws down a generic blanket, damn, mad respect to all of the stay-at-home parents out there.
Huge respect to stay-at-home moms and dad, for sure. You have my respect.
Like, that's cute. Maybe thank the man you've been taking for granted who's been quietly raising your children so that you can build your career. When Matt tells her, he doesn't think it's fair to be cut out of all the finances, and it makes him deeply unhappy. Amani pretty much tells him to suck it up because women have been dealing with the same thing for centuries.
Women who are stay-at-home, they have to ask for money, they have to ask for allowance. Women have been doing it forever.
A lot of the women in my position end up miserable.
What about the ones that don't?
She does this quite a bit in the show, where she justifies treating Matt poorly because women had to go through it too.
I quit my job, so...
Women do it too, for their children, to be there for their children.
And they're not cut off.
And it kind of seems like her idea of feminism is, girlies, it's our turn, make them suffer just the way that we did, mimicking oppressive gender dynamics instead of challenging them. But that's not it at all. We don't want to continue the cycle, we want to break it, or at least that's what we should be doing. The 2 later have an argument where Amani is like, I spend all of this money on traveling because traveling strengthens our marriage. And Matt calls her out and says, you only ever strengthen our marriage when it benefits you.
Like what? What do you want?
Which in hindsight is hilarious considering she traveled to Mexico to find a new girlfriend on one of these trips. But I'm getting ahead of myself.
Traveling for me is part of building a relationship. That's why I spend the money I spend, so we can...
And Matt is like, okay, this is your love language, that's fine, but this is not mine.
Okay, what is your love language? Absolutely nothing, because you ain't bought me shit.
Now, I'd like to kindly remind you, at this point, Amani does not let him touch any of her money, so I don't really know why she's getting butthurt that he isn't buying her anything. He literally can't, even if he wanted to. There are a lot more instances, but I honestly don't want to be here all day, so let's move on. The show ends with Amani and Matt having made a huge breakthrough. Amani is like, yeah, I've opened up about all of the bills, I've made a budget with him, I'm gonna give him a set allowance that does not change based on how much income he's bringing in, and then they waltz into the sunset hand in hand and, you know, all that jazz. Anyway, the series did a post-show update with the 2, and surprise, nothing actually ended up changing. Actually, I kind of think that it got a little bit worse. Amani decided to drain all the money in her accounts to pay for her dream home, which came with a guest house that she poured money into converting into an Airbnb.
It's probably like the riskiest financial decision we made, owning 2 homes, using all the cash I basically.
She says we, but she definitely means I, because remember, Matt still has zero say in what happens with the money.
You had no access to the family financials. Would you say you have access now?
Still have zero access.
And remember when Matt said that he wanted to run his own business? Well, Amani heard that and she said, if you want to run a business, then you are going to run the business that I tell you to run.
And he wanted to like run his own business. And I was like, oh, I don't want to fund that business. I didn't feel like I could trust him. We kind of found something that I'm comfortable with and he's thriving in.
So she ends up making him the property manager of their Airbnb, and she's still not happy with what he's contributing in terms of managing the property and taking care of the kids, because in that post show, she goes on to say she thinks he could be working part-time in the tech industry, making six figures like she does.
I feel like there is more potential for Matt to have more income. He could do like what I'm doing, where he can have like a full-time job while he could still be a property manager, like add even more income, 100K plus.
Anyway, you might be thinking, well, if Matt is a property manager, that's a good step in the right direction. He probably gets to control the finances when it comes to the business. Well, I am here to tell you, you would be wrong.
She's still hesitant on turning any financial responsibility over. So I don't even manage the finances of the Airbnb that I manage.
So yeah, Amani is basically like, Matt does what Matt is best at, dusting and vacuuming.
Not like trusting him. I always do like a testing, right? You know how with the Airbnb thing happened, like where he showed his value and I'm like...
And let me be clear, the way Amani treats Matt isn't misandry. She doesn't hate men. She just hates when men embody traits that are seen as feminine. She devalues his caregiving, she dismisses his emotional vulnerability, and she fails to acknowledge the contributions of all of his domestic labor. And she not only fails to deny that she does this, she loudly justifies it by saying women had to go through it too. Now we enter her 90-day fiance era. Amani and Matt took another one of her relationship-strengthening trips. They end up going to Mexico, they meet a stripper named Ani, and now all three have entered into a throuple situation because Amani wanted to date a woman and Matt says he wanted to give her the dream gay lifestyle. But let's be honest, even if Matt hated the idea, it wouldn't have mattered. There is a very clear history of her not giving a single shit what he wants unless it serves her. The first issue the two run into is how to get Ani to America. Amani suggests that her and Matt legally divorce so that Ani can marry Matt and come over on a K-1 visa.
I want to marry it with you.
With me?
Yes.
And then when Ani decides to do just that, Amani gets super upset and says it's not okay that Ani chose Matt because she works twice as hard as he does.
I call both. I've worked twice as hard than Matt in this relationship.
And I'm sorry, but Matt does a lot, okay? He raises the kids, he has to try and sexually and emotionally satisfy two women. He has to mediate their drama, which there is a lot of. He takes care of the household and works a part-time job that his wife forced him into and does not pay him for.
You want to say the boss. You want to have the control. He's more equal.
Ani mentions that Amani has been nothing but supportive about her job as a sexy dancer, but then we see Amani hold that very thing against her whenever she does not get her way. For example, when Ani says that her family knows she's dating Matt but not Amani because her family's super religious and she hasn't come out to them and she just asks Amani for a little bit more time and patience, Amani loses her mind and weaponizes her job to undermine her character.
That's it. I'm done.
You can't turn her to a housewife. That's what's going on.
Which tells me that Amani never actually respected Ani and what she does as a profession in the first place. In my opinion, you cannot say you support sex work and in the same breath use it to shame someone the moment that they disappoint you. And she does it again at the end of the season when Ani accuses her of canceling her rent check as punishment for choosing Matt as her marriage partner. Ani thinks this is retaliation because it is very much in line with Amani's previous patterns of behavior, using money as a form of control. So I do understand why Ani came to that conclusion. I personally don't think it matters whether the check was canceled out of retaliation or not, but what I do think is important is the fact that as soon as Ani stopped behaving in the way that Amani wanted her to, she completely flips the script and starts shaming her for the very thing that she was praising her for the other day.
When I was poor, I never danced for money. I'd rather be homeless than to do that. You're used to controlling men at your job with your little dancer. You have zero self-respect.
And look, I'm not trying to say that Amani is evil or irredeemable. I'm just saying that she's clearly a product of a world that sees femininity as weakness and attributes masculinity with strength and power. She grew up being taught that power is an inherently masculine trait, and those who are perceived to be more feminine are innately undeserving of it. So, what do you think? Have I got it wrong? Is Amani a misunderstood queen, or is she really just Big Ed with a bangin' bod? Let me know your thoughts down below. I hope you enjoyed this mini deep dive, and if you did, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and give this video a big thumbs up. I can't wait to see you for the next one. Bye!